Well, I should say that Charles saw this one coming, at least through 24 minutes, but all Milwaukee.
Hey.
They have led from the jump.
Hey, they punched him in the mouth. They're going to punch him in the head in the second half.
64-39 is the halftime score here in Game 2 of the Eastern Conference Finals. The Bucks trying to take a 2-0 series lead. American Express halftime reporter Ernie Johnson, Shaq, Kenny, and Charles. You think about the Bucks, you think of Antetokounmpo and Middleton and Bledsoe, but it's been the others, as Shaq likes to say. It's been guys that John Horst, the GM, has picked up from Ersan Ilyasova, Brook Lopez, Pat Connaughton. All of these people have had moments in these playoffs that have enabled the Bucks to go 9-1 up to this point, including Nikola Mirotic, who's got 15 tonight. Our American Express teammates, Ilyasova, Mirotic, and Brogdon, combining for 42. Mirotic in the starting lineup, but then you look at Ilyasova's numbers and Brogdon's, individually they both outscored the Toronto bench in the first 24 minutes. It's been impressive, and it's been dominant, Shaq.
It's nothing better, and Chuck knows what I'm talking about. When you're a superstar, all the pressure's on you, it's nothing better when your others come to play and they come to help you out and you don't have to do all the work. Keep in mind the others are always comfortable at home, but listen, right here, Giannis gets double. Anybody with the last name IC, Pitch, great shooters. Hey, but Giannis, we got to stop him. He kicks it to the other. The others are ready to play. Let's say, Giannis, you know what? We got you, brother. Right here, Brook Lopez, Malcolm Brogdon. I really like this kid. I thought, he was going to have a little rust on him, but he's showing no rust at all. And right here, anybody from Turkey, knowing what they go through over there, I love players from Turkey, but the others are definitely stepping up. I call it championship by delegation.
64-39. We talked before the game about weathering the storm. The storm did hit Toronto. They did not weather it well.
Didn't weather it well. If you look at basketball, it's about making the correct decisions. And what I have a term called controllable errors. When we used to be in championship moments, it's like, we can get this if we don't have if we have controllable errors. But Toronto, on the other hand, they don't have controllable errors, or they're not making great decisions. And as the ball moves around and you see Powell, he's open right here, so freeze it. Now, if you have a wide open three or a wide open layup, your opportunity should always say take the layup. But what happens is now you let the defense recover, and you look at Lopez, he's blocking out, and now you take a three when you had a layup. To me, that's a controllable error. Again, you're gonna go, he's setting the pick and roll for Kawhi Leonard to get him off, freeze it here. All you have to do is set a solid screen, because this is a key possession, 29-43. Make a great screen. No, you slide in, a controllable error, you get an offensive foul. Those things you can't happen. Again, shot goes up, good, freeze it in. We secure the rebound. It's 29-43 again, we secure it. Make a great pass, no. They get a steal, an easy basket. Now the game starts to open up. If you don't have if you have controllable errors and you control those things, you stay in the game on the road and you give yourself a chance to win, and that's championship basketball.
Yeah, all that stuff is good, but it don't mean anything. They can't beat this team. They don't have enough weapons. You name three guys who you mentioned. You can't mention three guys on Toronto like that. We know Kawhi is going to play fantastic. We hope that Kyle Lowry plays well. We hope Siakam plays well. But those guys are starters. There's nobody on Toronto bench. Think about this, Ernie. Those three guys you mentioned, they scored more than Toronto starters. Think about that. Those three guys you mentioned, they scored more than the Toronto bench.
Mirotic, Ilyasova, and Brogdon.
They scored more than the Toronto starters. I mean, the whole team, excuse me. And Toronto don't have those guys. I mean,
they don't have them, or they're not happening tonight. They have them, they just not.
No, they haven't had them. Kyle Lowry had a good night the other night. Siakam, he's missing in action. But who else?
Marc Gasol continues to struggle.
Yeah,
as well.
I mean, they're struggling.
So does Danny Green.
Yeah, but Ken, you always talk about the energy. I'm actually sitting down there. Toronto don't have that desperation energy that we need to get this game too. Yeah, they just,
You're right, Shaq. You're
going through the
100%
motions.
right.
Because you know what? They know they can't beat this team.
After game one,
Yes.
only in a half of game two, you're going to
They
quit.
played as well as they could play in game one and didn't win. Now tonight, I told you they're going to come out and punch him in the mouth. This team had a week off. They came out rusty. Listen, I'm not saying this series is over. Okay, I don't think Toronto can beat this team 4 times.
Toronto had, in game one, 34 points in the first quarter. They have 39 in the first half of game two. All Bucks, all the time in game two.
Live from the 2019 Eastern Conference Finals, you're watching the American Express halftime report.
Big news out of the league, though, as Pacers guard Tyreke Evans has been dismissed for violating the anti-drug policy. Stephen A. has got to wait 2 years to apply for reinstatement, something we do not see very often in the NBA. What's your reaction?
Well, my reaction is that evidently he did something to deserve it. You're talking to the wrong man if you expect sympathy for drug use. The fact of the matter is the NFL, the NBA, everybody is clear about what their policies are. And we've got too many of these athletes that have the mindset we should be allowed to do what we want to do to some degree anyway, as long as we show up to work and perform. Well, guess what? When you have your hand extended for other people's money, you don't get to make your own rules. You have to follow the rules and regulations and the stipulations accorded to you by virtue of the contract that you signed. And if you're not adult and disciplined enough to make sure that you do that, then guess what? You have to suffer the consequences. I don't know the specific details. Please don't get me wrong. I don't know if there's an addiction involved or anything like that. But the bottom line is the rules are the rules. And if you don't follow them, you have to suffer the consequences. That's the message that the NBA is sending. They're sending it not just because of themselves and their own standard, but because the public out there that patronizes your product and your brand demands a certain level of discipline and behavior on the part of the professional athletes. If you don't like it, go someplace else and make considerably less money. That's the bottom line.
He's coming off a pretty decent season for those Indiana Pacers, set to become an unrestricted free agent this summer, and now we won't see him back for at least 2 years, if at all. Stephen A. Smith, live from Milwaukee. Thank you.
To the other big story of the day.
Is almost more helpful than a blowout win, because you could point out all the things on film that we didn't do that got us in trouble, and then you can point out the things that they did to pull the game out.
We were the better team in game two, and we let the game slip away. They won the game. But, I mean, like I said, it was both games on their home floor, and in the playoffs you always say protect your home court. And now, we got the opportunity to do the same thing. So, we just got to focus on tomorrow. Go get this first one at home.
All right, so I'm not sure if you saw our post-game coverage on SportsCenter after the Warriors win, but it was interesting to get a glimpse behind the scenes, back in the tunnel that leads to the Golden State locker room, because standing outside of it was one Kevin Durant. His calf strain has turned out to be more serious than originally thought, as the team now says their two-time Finals MVP is out for at least another week. So you do the math, and that means no KD through at least next Wednesday's potential Game 5 against Portland. Game 6 would be a week from tonight. And our Nick Friedel picks up the story from there.
Behind the scenes, the Warriors are preparing to play the rest of the Western Conference Finals without Kevin Durant because nobody in the organization is sure when he'll be able to return.
This one is taking a little bit longer than the ones he's had in the past, but that's okay. He's coming along well, and if he continues to improve at the rate he's improving now, we're confident that he'll be back. We just don't know when.
While Steve Kerr is more optimistic, the reality is that Durant hasn't been able to do any on-court work yet and is still walking with a limp. As the Warriors wait for more progress, the internal mindset remains the same.
We can't sit and look over our shoulder and say, hey man, when's K going to be back? We just got to play. With whatever we got to play and give him an opportunity to get back. And I think that's what really falls on our shoulders.
The Warriors are confident they can beat the Trailblazers without Durant, but the group has said repeatedly over the last week that if it wants to win a third straight title, they'll need the man who has won the last 2 Finals MVPs. In the meantime, the group doesn't want to run the clock on their star's return, because they still don't know when it will start. In Oakland, Nick Friedel, ESPN.
Let's welcome back Stephen A. Smith from Milwaukee. And Stephen A., before we get your opinion on the Durant story, Charles Barkley, he was on guest